Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I'm doing a bit of a short commentary slash tips something. But this is kind of a different way to play. And it's focused on mid lane. It's a mid lane strategy. It's something I picked up. I actually was looking into Zyra and some mid lane play because I think her playstyle is really cool and interesting. And I was watching some replays of pro players playing her, like Skara and Xpeke. And one of the things that you'll see with people who play Zyra is she is a fantastically strong farmer. And one of the things that you can do, and actually picked up from them, is it's not really that rare of a tip. Some of you may have already heard it before, but they will not only roam mid lane, but they will continuously go over and roam the jungle. You can see right now I'm clearing out these wraiths. This is the idea that I'm talking about. So the basic idea is that you want to be constantly farming. That you want to go into hyperdrive mode with your farm. And if you look at the farm totals, you can see I'm at 152. The next closest is 116. So I have a 40 CS lead over everybody else in the game at 16 minutes, which is fairly substantial. And there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to talk about this and why I think that this is effective. But I've kind of started this clip here out more at this mid-game juncture. I'm already at level 12. I already got my Athenes and a needlessly large rod. But basically, honestly, what I've been pretty much doing this entire game over and over again is I will, especially once I got my Chalice to go into my Athenes, I would push the lane and I would go over and do raids. And you can see I just did blue buff. I would do it in this exact same manner. I'm not even like going over on that side. I'm just standing on my side of the wall using my plants and my abilities to just quickly farm these jungle camps. So I'm going to go ahead and shove out this lane, going to get a little bit of damage and harass. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and probably get a straight up kill onto this dude. But my entire goal and objective of this game so far, so you can see I'm using all of my abilities, just throwing them all out to farm out these creeps as quickly as I possibly can. Now I'm going to run over and do raids. Actually, I might be TPing bot, but anyways, so to kind of just talk a little bit about this strategy and why I think it works and why it makes it successful, is I totally fail on many of my abilities right there. But, so anyways, I would say that this is a situational strategy and tactic. You don't want to do it on every mid laner. Certain mid laners are very good at roaming. If you're playing champions like Zed or Ahri or Kassadin, some of these high mobility assassins that really need to get kills and snowball that way, their kit is very much designed for single target burst. And those are not the champions that I'm talking about with this type of a concept. Talking more about the utility-based mages who have 1 or 2 or even 3 abilities that are very, very strong at this AoE wave clear type deal. So with Zyra, I've got her Q, which is a nice AoE ability, and then her plants and her W. All of those 3 things are AoE. So you can see I do QW, EW. Just quickly, or I think I'm even just going WWQE. So throwing down 2 seeds, throwing up the Q to create those vine lashers or whatever they're called, and then using my E to keep them in place so that my plants can do the work on them. But I'm just constantly going back and forth, shoving out my lane as quickly as I can, going to do raids, shoving out my lane as quickly as I can, going to do wolves, rinse and repeat. I've probably done it 3. I'm not even like this Victor is poking at me and harassing me. I don't even care. You can see if you look at my score, I'm 1-0-3, but I'm up to 189 CS. Next closest is 141. So again, getting a pretty massive CS lead. And there's a really nice setup right there. But you can see that I'm not even really being extremely, intentional about trying to do a lot of damage to my opponent. And my goal in lane is really not to try and get a bunch of kills. I do get picked off right there. But my goal in lane is not, with this type of a champion, is not to get a bunch of kills. It's not to poke down, harass your enemy. It's simply to farm. You want to power farm your way into the mid and late game. And it's a really highly effective strategy. If you pick one of these mages who have very, very strong team fighting and very strong AoE wave clear, those are kind of the 2 formulas. And then combined with that low mobility is also kind of in with that category as well. So in general, I'm thinking about champions like Zyra, Orianna, Karthus, some of these champions who scale really, really well into late game, but their kit is more designed and centered around kind of AoE team fighting, not so much 1v1 dueling. Zyra is a relatively weak 1v1 duelist, and she's got some burst, but Karthus is another really good example that you can do this on. Karthus is all about team fighting. He's a very weak duelist. He has very low single target damage. But if Karthus gets super fed and gets into the middle of your enemy team, I mean, there's just no way you can compete with that much damage. It is absurd. And with Zyra, she is really, really good in terms of AoE damage. And it's one of those things where it really can put you ahead, especially at lower elos. I play... this was just a normals match, one of my first matches with Zyra, as I pick up a nice kill there on Lulu and get a nice ultimate off. Unfortunately, my ultimate didn't quite get the kill on Victor. Oh, Tristana did get away. Good job by her. But anyways, I think I actually make a nice play here. But anyways, I wanted to share this tactic with you guys. If you play mid lane and if you really enjoy playing some of these more utility-based mages that have very, very strong farming, there's a nice combo there to pick up that kill. Good job by Thresh to land the hook. But if you really like to play these mages, I think that this playstyle can be very strong. But you do need to realize that I think that this playstyle is kind of counterintuitive to many players. I think a lot of players focus a lot on getting kills, but you really need to kind of shift your mindset. So you can see, Jax is going to do something top lane. I could go and roam and help him out, but I don't even care. I have no care. I'm pretty much playing PvE right now. I have no concern about what the other 9 champions are doing in the game. My only goal is to get a truckload of farm, and you can see I'm up to 220 now. Next closest is 166. That's Jax. So I have like a 60 minion lead over the next closest in terms of CS. That's pretty ridiculous. And it really pays off, because it's one of those things where if you reach, your 6-item build, a good 5 or 10 minutes faster than anybody else in the game, I mean, your power level is just going to be way higher than anybody else. And when we finally do start team fighting, we're going to be really strong. And another thing that this does is it puts tremendous objective power and control over the enemy team, because you're not focusing on trying to just get a bunch of kills. Instead of you're focusing much more on trying to push your lane and then farm. Push your lane and then farm. Because your lane is always being pushed, you really don't have to worry too much about... You're gonna just naturally push down towers and create opportunities to take dragons. You're going to be creating and you're also going to be shoving your lane to the point where if your opponent does decide to roam, roaming mid laners are very, very strong right now. One of the best ways to counter a strong roaming mid laner is to obviously communicate with your team that they're missing, but is to push all of the farm into towers so that they miss it. So not only are you're winning the objective wars because you're pushing down that mid. You can see that I pushed down the mid tower, and my mid tower is still standing. I won the objective control in my mid lane. And I also have denied Victor a ton of CS. If you look at Victor, he's got 81 CS. It's not because I was so godlike in lane and I was just destroying him with all my harass and poke and outplaying him and trying to get kills. I really haven't. All 3 of my kills have kind of come incidentally when I just kind of roamed a little bit out into the jungle and tried to help my team. But for the most part, I have focused all of my energy and my mana on, you can see I'm just going to go take these raids real quick. It just is a very, very effective and powerful strategy, one that I really enjoy, and I think that it's very underappreciated. The best way to win a game of League of Legends is to win the objective wars. If you watch the LCS at all, that strategy will become increasingly clear, that people who, in teams, they do things like they push down towers in 3 minutes. They do that because they want to win the objective war, and that's what this strategy is designed to do. So overall, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm probably not going to finish off the rest of this game because once these team fights starts, I really start to take over with my crowd control, and my damage is also quite high. And if you like to play these kind of mid lane mages who are very, very strong with the AoE wave clear, they don't necessarily have the best roaming potential, but they've got great AoE wave clear and they've got great scaling and utility into late game. If you like to play those type of champions, consider this strategy. Once you get a couple... this isn't something you do right away at level 1. It's probably after you get a couple times back. You're probably going to need your first big mana item. For me, it was when I got my Chalice, and then especially once I got my Athenes. But when you kind of get into that later part of the laning phase, you just use all of your abilities to spam them out and push that wave as fast as you possibly can. Run over, do raids. By the time that the next minion wave comes in, you use your abilities again to clear them out, and then go do wolves. And you just kind of continue alternating that combo back and forth until you get to a position like this, where you've got 250 CS, at 25 minutes. That's a 10 CS per minute average. That's very, very good. And it's not necessarily because I'm playing so well. It's just that this is the nature of my champion. This is my tactic. This is my strategy. And it's something that really pays off. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you consider this as a possible strategy. If you like to play these type of champions, I think that this can be very strong and powerful in solo queue. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick tip for you mid laners. And if you do play mid lane, I'm very curious to know how many of you kind of do like to employ this heavy farming type strategy where you're basically playing a PvE, where you pretty much are ignoring your lane opponent and you're just trying to get as many creeps as possible. Versus kind of the opposing strategy would be to play more of like the aggressive assassin who's trying to actively kill the opponent and then roam around the map and kill other people. Kind of that snowballing, roaming style. Not to saying that one is better or worse than the other, but just to say that I think that this is also viable and something that is definitely undervalued. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.